Yes, good morning. It's really been a minute since I did anything on YouTube. I have, to be honest, I have looked at this last days ministry, and it really did something to me, because people used to say, when you're going through and you're trying to get in touch with God, to pretend that He's in a chair and just pour your heart out to Him. So I have gone through a lot. And the Lord has really blessed me, even though I'm still going through, because I, have been in a relationship, a one sided relationship, trying to be faithful myself because of my belief in God. And at the same time, I struggled a lot with bitterness and I struggled a lot with unforgiveness. So, when the Lord began to really deal with me about bitterness and just giving up. It really came through me watching someone else's broadcast when they were talking about how we nurse our hurt. Like we nurse our hurt like a baby. Like we don't want to give it up, and that keeps God from moving for us. So a lot of times our prayers, are hindered. Because if we are praying and we have an ought against somebody, then we have to forgive. We have to put our gift on the altar and go and be reconciled. And like I said, I have always, striven, to be faithful and stuff because God had told me when I was a young girl that righteousness exalted the nation, but sin is a reproach to any people. And a lot of times, like when you go to church, and there's not a whole lot going on, and what I mean by not a whole lot going on, sometimes the minister is not really crying out to God, so he's just like he's trying to do a one size fit all. That means he might be giving a word, but then when you look on YouTube and you see people give specific words that match their situation, you be saying, well, I'm not getting fed. So, but you still gotta, stay in God's face, stay connected with God so you can kind of hear, what He is saying. And, you know, so like if I had to just look at the numbers, I would, you know, um, just stop doing this ministry. But I remember this lady had told me, that God wanted me to be faithful. So that means you have to be faithful, even when things are not going the way you think they should go, even when you're under witchcraft attack, which I have been so many times. Oh my God, so many times. So I'm not giving the witches credit. I'm just acknowledging that sometimes, you could be so depressed and you could be so just going through so much and you don't have anybody to share it with. And so, you need to be faithful to God if you can't be faithful to anybody else. So I was just laying in the bed, just talking to the Lord, really. And then just thinking about some dreams I had, because I can really have some dreams sometimes. I really can have some dreams. And what I conclude from the dreams that I had is that people are really leaving off the natural use. I mean, people are getting so disgusted with their relationships with men and whatever, being so disappointed or whatever, and they're beginning to lust after each other, same sex attraction and stuff, and God is not in approval of that, He's not. But I'm gonna go ahead and read First Peter the fifth chapter, and I hope that this blesses someone. It says, "The elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder, and a witness of the sufferings of Christ, and also a partaker of the glory that shall be revealed. Feed the flock of God which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind, neither as being lords over God's heritage, but being examples to the flock." And I think that's a lot of times, people become preachers because, churching is a lucrative business. I was thinking about a lot of time we think that gain is godliness. We feel, he showed me, we feel like if we are prospering materially, then we feel like God, that means God with us. If we got a new house or we got a new car, or I guess if we have a lot of followers or whatever, but each one of us is going to have to be judged on an individual basis. And I do want God, to really look upon me, because I've had some very honest conversation with God. I realize, God resists the proud and give it grace to the humble. And I realize a lot of times, I had made like a God out of myself in a sense, just trying to do what would make me happy and not realizing, that, we need to submit to God. We just, he hide me. So like, I guess, you could just like say, God is like warning people, that even if they got mega churches, even if they got a following and stuff like that, that does not necessarily mean that God is pleased, with them, because, we still have to search ourselves, and we still have to just, just kind of be humble before God. But it says, and when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. Likewise, ye younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yes, all of you be subject one to another, and be clothed with humility. For God resisteth the proud, and giveth grace to the humble. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of God, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he careth for you. And there's one thing the enemy don't want us to do. He wants us to get on the phone and talk about our problems. He wants us to try to find a prophet and try to get them to tell us, that God is concerned. But we got to take this word. If you don't have anybody else, you got to realize, cast your care upon the Lord. Oh, it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about seeking whom he may devour, whom resist steadfast in the faith, knowing that the same afflictions are accomplished in your brethren that are in the world. So that means whatever you're going through is somebody else going through something similar. But the God of all grace, who have called us unto his eternal glory by Christ Jesus, after that ye have suffered a while, make you perfect. See, kalalabasi, teach me, God. Shadabababasi, alabohosha, God. Hallow my notes, God. Come and anoint her now. Teach me, Lord. Behold me, O God. Pekobosi, my years. God, redeem my body, God. Foes, Sam, we just have foes that continue to send us witchcraft. And Lord, it's so sad. It's just so sad. It's so God, he reached me. I'm going to stop right there, but just be blessed. I hope that this message edifies you. Heal me, Jesus. Teach me.